Hello, good afternoon and welcome to New Forest Morphs. Jared and I together. It's Tuesday morning and it's good to have Jared back in the facility. We've been doing lots of things. We've been ultrasounding and preparing for the new breeding season. Jared, we've got about 10 girls here that you very carefully helped me with the ultrasound. And Jared gave me a little bit more practice so that I know a bit more how to home in on these quite quickly. So we've gone from Bella all the way down to Linnea. And you can see that there's some really good ones in there. Lucky's not very big at the bottom, she's one of our clown girls, but Linnea's at 12. And then we've got a few at 10. You can see that Boo Boo and Binky Jester, this is the Ultramale Clown project, they're ready to be paired. We like to pair at 10 mil. Mayu, who was one of the first girls that went last year, is also ready. She's a pastel yellow belly cinnamon pied girl, and we're thinking about putting Colt to her, Jared, to get those 3 genetics into the Ultramale Pied project. And then Bella was really good, she was 12 mil. She's your highway clown project, Jared, and she's in shed at the moment, but she's showing good sized follicles, and this is all good news. So the majority of those girls that we've got here, Mango from last year, she's our pastel clown girl. She always gives us a reliable set of eggs, she's up to 10 mil. So it shows that a lot of the older girls, Bubbles, 12 mil, Jared, who's our Enchi clown girl, and she's going into shed. Everything's going into shed, so it's all moving really well. Talking of sheds, Jared, we've got our first 2 zipper bags for our first 2 sheds that will be going to Europe this week, and the ones that shed out are Monty, your gravel pastel clown boy. Let's have a quick look at him and see how he's looking out of shed. There we go. We're hoping that he's carrying the gravel, but we think he is either a super pastel or a pastel gravel clown.
He's not super.
So you think he's just a
pastel lesser?
Pastel lesser.
Yep.
So he'll be powerful. He'll go to Bella if he proves out to be gravel. Now, believe it or not, half the shed was in his water bowl, and you can see what I've done here is I've cut it in half. I didn't want to send the wet one, but this was outside the water bowl, so I've let them dry for a couple of days. I've pegged them onto the animals rub, and you can see there that they're nice and dry. And if I can just remove them from there, and then we'll put that one into the bag. Now, tests for gravel is here, and what I've put on here is I've put the name of the company, New Forest Morphs, my telephone number, my name, my email address, the ID of the snake, number 209, test for gravel. So what we do is we open up the zipper bag, we slip. Now, some people like us to cut a little bit off, but we're going to send the bulk of that shed in, and we'll put that into there. Now, it's important not to contaminate these, and so we'll just slip those in, and then we will
fold it up a bit.
Might have to fold it a little bit, so if I just fold that up, but you can see I don't want to damage it, I just want to be able to get it in the zipper bag, zip that up like that, and it's ID'd and it goes into the post. And we've got a UK breeder that has a connection with the European tester, so we'll be sending that to our UK breeder. And then the other one, Jared, was Ebony. So if you can bring me her shed. So
I'll show you the girl.
She is a beautiful girl. She is a hypo, possibly het pied, and
we're testing for het pie, aren't we? Not hypo.
Yeah.
We've put het hypo.
We put het hypo. Oh, okay.
So
we need to change that. So we're testing for het pied here.
Right, easy change. If you just scribble out that bottom bit.
Sorry, test for.
Yeah, scribble out from there.
Het. What are we saying, Jared?
Pied.
Pied.
Get rid of that hypo again.
Yeah, I made a mistake there. I'm glad that we checked all this, Jared, because it's so easy to make mistakes, isn't it? So again, we'll fold that in, and luckily she was actually good enough to not shed in her water bowl, so this one hopefully will be up for test. I'm hoping she proves pied. If she does, we'll definitely be preparing her for breeding, and we'll put that in the bag. So we're testing for het pied and testing for gravel. Zip that up. So all looking good, and I should squeeze the air out of these really, Jared. Is the key, and then put those in. So we'll put those into an envelope and send them in the post today. and our friend who's promised to send them up to Europe for us will send them into Europe with his sheds together. So that takes care. These are our first ever 2 shed tests, so we're hoping and praying that at least one of them comes back positive. If they both come back positive, we'll give you the results. There should be a couple of weeks by the time they come back, and we'll let you know how that impacts on our breeding schedule. So we've done the ultrasounds, Jared, and were you pleasantly surprised by the size of the follicles? Because we're in mid-September, and when you've got them up to 12 mil and 10 mils, that's the time when we like to start pairing. And even some of these that are at 9.5. Now we also looked at Maria and Koji. Now these two are the leopard double-haired DG pied and the double-haired DG pied girls. They're both in shed. Most of our animals are going into shed because they have been feeding really well. But the boy, who is the husband-to-be, is Tattoo, he still could do with a little bit of size on him. So we have a look and see how he's doing. We're going to be feeding him today, but you can see he's in a slightly larger rug, and we shall give him some food items. We won't mess with him today and bring him on, but I think when he's ready we can start to plug them in. Now these 2 animals, Maria was 9.5, Koji was 7.1, so they could probably do with another few weeks anyway, Jared. So we may end up pairing them in October, and that means that we'll build up the boy to get him up to size. Binky Jester and Boo Boo, we said, were both at 10 mil, so we can start pairing them. And their partner is this guy here, which is Chuckles. This is the Ultramale Clown project. You can see he's shed out and looking really good. He's big enough to breed, Jared. Is he producing sperm at the moment?
Yeah.
So he is. So we'll be putting him to the double het girls. And the funny thing is Jared and I were both looking at the size of the girls. They were so long and slender, we thought that the follicles would be much smaller. It turns out that their follicles were bigger than some of the other bigger girls. They were a lot bigger. Because we did Costa, who's massive, and Costa, who's an ultramale, het ultramale girl.
She's Mocking
Mojave. She came in at 7 mil and she's tanked out. So just because an animal looks tanked out doesn't mean to say their follicles are big. And actually it's the smaller girls that actually seem to have the bigger follicles, so it's well worth, if we're not palpating, we're actually using the ultrasound, Jared, to identify what we've got going on. Now the good news is Amy came back over the weekend and she has palpated all her 3 girls, and she's found that one of her girls is ready to breed. So I think we're going to see her first pairing soon, Jared. And she's getting the hang of palpating, so well done Amy for sussing that out. She's not feeling very well this week, but I wish you well, Amy, all the recovery. And Mandy, as you see in the background, has framed your beautiful picture. So just wanted to bring that down here, as you can see. We've got this lovely diamond art that's now been framed in a nice black frame, and that will go on the wall as part of the art in the facility.
Bedazzling our facility.
So it's dazzling, you can see on the lights. So that's really lovely.
Is it called bejazzling or something?
Bejazzling. Okay. And the other thing, Jared, is on the video, the second part 2 series that we put out yesterday, the battery gave up the ghost in typical New Forest Morph style. So I was just explaining the 2-4-8 rule, which I got to 2, I got to 4, I was just about to go on to the 8-week rule, and the battery cut off. So I wanted to spend a couple of minutes on that. So Jared, the 2-4-8 rule, do you remember that rule?
I've never heard of that rule.
Let me explain how I've tried to remember it. So we'll just do a quick recap on the breeding cycle. So from the point where the females go into ovulation, which is when the sperm enters the follicles, or now eggs, we end up with cell splitting and we end up with development of embryos. Now at that point you've got to work out that the girl will have to shed out, and it's called a pre-lay shed. So it's the shed before she lays, pre-lay shed, or you can call it a post-ovulation shed if you like, whichever one you want to call it. It takes about 2 weeks from the point of ovulation to her shedding out. So that's your 2-week rule. Now, I've seen girls shed out after 3, even 4 weeks, and I'm scratching my head and wondering why they're taking longer. But the reality is they average about 2 weeks, 15 days, or thereabouts. And I think last year, looking at our clutches, we were able to predict accurately the pre-lay shed. So when you've identified an ovulation, expect them to have a shed in a couple of weeks. So remember that as the 2-week rule. The next one is the 4-week rule, which is from the point of the prelay shed, she will give you a clutch of eggs, hopefully, or something. It might be slugs, depends on whether they're fertile, 4 weeks later. So remember, the 2-week is from ovulation point to prelay shed. The 4-week period is from prelay shed to giving you the eggs, 2 4 weeks. So 2 weeks and 4 weeks. The 8 weeks is you take those eggs and put them in the incubator. The eggs take 8 weeks to incubate normally on average, or 60 days. So the way I remember it is 2 4 8. So it doubles in size. So you've got 2 weeks to prelay, double that to 4 weeks for your lay, and then from there 8 weeks double hatching. So 2 4 8, easy to remember. Then for when you're actually trying to predict your dates, you can then put them on your diary so you know what to look for when they're going to come and you're ready. And having those projections are important because then you can prepare. You can make sure your incubator's fired up, you make sure that the boxes are made up before they come. You can keep an eye on the girls to see when they are definitely shedding out. And then it's all good news. If you've identified the ovulation correctly, which we don't always do that, it's normally followed by a prelay shed. Some ovulations are very subtle, others are very visual. The other thing is, I mentioned the signs of ovulation, which are, Jared, can you remember the signs of ovulation?
They swell up like an American football.
Like an American football
or rugby ball.
Yeah, that's one thing to look
their
for.
Cloaca, their tail sucks in a bit, so you can see like a tail suck.
Tail suck. Now I forgot to mention that on the video, but that's another one to watch out for. So you look at tail suck.
They usually start glowing. It's the glow before they go.
They glow before they go, so you often see the girls' colours come up vibrant. And also they have ridging. So when you look at the body of the snake, there's ridging around the top of their body, and you can see that they are ridged up like a mountain ridge. And also you get the expansion of the scales. So when they have an ovulation, you'll see they expand, and the scales are much more clear and visual. You can see how they're expanding to accommodate for the ovulation. So they're the things to watch out for.
Yeah.
Now, was there anything else that I wanted to discuss on that side? I think that covers the 2 4 8 rule, that covers the ovulation. We're going to get into more detail with Amy on the next series, where she'll be asking me further questions, and we'll give you an update as she develops her clutches and eggs. So I think we've got ultrasound done, Jared. So it's important to get an ID on where you are before you start pairing. It's important to get your shed tests in before you start pairing. So we're just giving you our seasonal jobs that we need to do. And I suppose we should bring out some snake candy. You were cleaning the babies today. Anything amongst the babies that are we should bring out? That were shed out or looking good?
A lot of them are going into shed.
Yeah.
There wasn't many that shed out, so.
Oh, there's 2 other things I was going to mention. The viper bedding has arrived.
Yeah.
So let's bring it out. We're going to do a proper review. So Gavin from Balls to You basically introduced us to this product. It's a high quality premium product. Apparently we need a, what size, Rob?
80 litre tub.
An 80?
Yep.
So we do have an 80 litre tub, but unfortunately we drilled holes in it because we were using it to hydrate some of our snakes. So we're not going to be able to use that because we need to pour water into this block. So this block here, Jared, will expand into...
It will fill up the 80 litre tub.
It will fill up an 80 litre tub. So we haven't done it yet. We were going to show you how to do it, but Jared's going to order an 80 litre tub without holes.
Yeah.
Then we'll probably demonstrate how we will prepare. I think Gav on his videos have already shown, there's some videos out there, Jared, but it's worth looking at those to make sure we get it right.
If you type in viper bedding on YouTube, you'll find them.
Viper bedding. So I think you'd probably need warmer water, I'd say. You don't want to be doing it with
It is warm. So it tells you the instructions here. So
okay.
You can see step 1. So the box has got to be a minimum of 80 litres. You put it in the middle. You add hot water for 10 minutes. 4 litres of hot water.
Yeah.
You then mix it. Then you do another load of hot water, leave it for 30 minutes, and then it's ready to use.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll get that set up later this week and give you a view of how we're doing it. And actually we're going to use them for the hatchlings because this is part of the process. We've got 20 hatchlings out of 150 that are picky. Jared and I are a little bit concerned about them, but Jared, you've ordered some new prey items to experiment.
We've got some
do you want to just show them what we've got over there? We're feeding today.
These teeny little Maltese. So they're smaller than the fluffs and the pups, but they've got fur on them and they're a different scent. So hopefully that'll be enough to tempt them to eating.
No, that's really good. So the other good news is I've had conversations with about 5 or 6 recommendations on the accounts and tax front. There's quite a few breeders out there that need some assistance, and following my live I had with Gavin on his channel, we were able to generate some really good connections. So I would like to thank Gav at Balls to You for introducing us to his community, and we've met some really lovely people, and quite a few of them have been following us on the channel, and it was a natural conversation, and we had some beautiful video meetings this week. I've been quite busy. There's quite a few people in the industry that need a little bit of love and support on the accounts and tax front, and it's been my pleasure to get to know them on a personal level and to help them move forward with their accounts and tax. So that was really good news, Jared. I'm super happy and pumped about that. I don't think there's much else to say other than, should we bring out a little bit of snake candy? That's the thing I was going to say. So let me see if I can find some snake candy for an update on some of the babies that were feeding last night.
We've got some new scales.
We've got some new scales as well. Let's bring those out.
Try them out with a few babies.
Yeah, okay.
Do the ones that we're not feeding.
Yeah, so if you remember last week we fed some decent sized Maltese to some of our grow ones, and these are the new scales. Jared, just talk us through how you use those and why you went for those.
They're postal scales, so you can put, the last ones that we had you couldn't really put a big tub on them, but with this you can easily fit a 9-12 litre rub and then put the snake in it.
What I'll do, Jared, is I'll bring out, this one's actually done a poo, you might have missed this one, Jared, or it may have just have pooed after you've cleaned. But if I bring out this one here, I'm calling this the Dalmatian, because this one here...
Yeah, let's grab a bit of towel.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about these...
I'll get a little...
you can just stick them straight on.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to do that. I'll do a spot clean on this one.
205 grams.
A 205. So that one took a decent sized multi last week, and as you can see it is quite chunky. So the advantage of actually feeding a slightly bigger prey item is that we're not going to feed these ones this week, because that prey item will last them at least 2 weeks. And but what I wanted to show, Jared, is these marks, these Dalmatian marks, weren't on there when it was born. Can you see these beautiful freckles? Now they will get bigger and bigger, and that one's got a cross on them as well. And you can see that it actually adds to the beauty of the animal, because it's almost like a, what seems very small can get very large and patchy, and you end up with the effect of a panda pied. And I actually quite like it. And you can see this one is a cinnamon yellow belly pastel pied, 100% het for lavender albino. So it means that we can get all these genetics into the lavender albino, which I think is lovely. And we looked at mother. Now if we bring out mother, which we did check Mayu, and you can see that she hasn't necessarily got as much patterning, because the lavender albino I think creates more patterning. But if I bring Mayu out, you can compare the mother with the baby.
She's got a couple dots, hasn't she?
It has got a few dots, but look, if you look at her head stamp, it is similar, but you can see in there you've got the jagged patterns of the yellow belly, you've got the pastel and the cinnamon in there, and you can see the lips are very white. See underneath the lips? See how white they are? That's an indication of pastel. Now she's the one that's building decent sized follicles. I think she's got 12mm follicles, Jared. She's got a few little crosses and dots on her, but you can see not as many as her offspring, but there's one bigger one there, so you can see that she's got a few that are growing. So there's the mother and there's the baby. Babies are doing well, and we were blessed to get 4 females. One is available if anybody wants to hit us up and get those genetics into the Lavender Dream School project, please do. It's on Morph Market at the moment, and we would be happy for someone to make an offer on that snake, Jared, because we have got 4 girls in total, and we're happy to release one of them.
Should we get the one out that's for sale?
We can get the one out that's for sale if you like, yeah. I'll just put this one back.
Because pictures can do one thing, but seeing it in real life's better.
Yeah. We'll switch them round. So the one that's available is in here, number 3. And again, we'll see whether there's any cross marks happening. Perhaps you can have a look, Jared. I'll put this one back and see what you've got there, and maybe weigh it up. And I think that one took a large prey item.
Yeah, it's got some speckling coming in.
Yeah.
This one's 215 grams. And again, same thing, a bit less speckling than the last one.
And that's the one that's available that you're showing at the moment.
Yeah.
But they'll get more freckling. These spots will probably expand and get bigger.
Yeah,
I love the brightness of the head stamp.
This one's really almost yellow, isn't it?
You can see the yellow belly, cinnamon and pastel work well together. Imagine that in the lavender albino dreamsicle. I mean, it's going to end up being a dreamsicle maker. If you had a dreamsicle boy to put to her, you would produce some amazing looking animals.
And you get an Enchy in there and you get more pattern.
And more Enchy as well, yeah. So we're going to get Enchy and Orange Dream into the same project because we've got some other genetics that we're building.
Awesome.
And we've also got some clowns. So for the Holy Grail, Jared, we've got the clown going into this project as well. So how
Here's
beautiful.
another one.
Yeah.
195.
Yeah. So the scales are working well, Jared?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Easier to see on camera because there's a backlight as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Just a cheap pair off Amazon, but good reviews.
And then this is, I think, another one of our holdbacks, which is doing particularly well. Again, Jared, there's food in the corner, so we have to do a spot clean.
Missed a few of these.
Honestly, they must realise there's food in the facility, and they're
I think
putting
this
out.
one's the prettiest one in my opinion.
Yeah, beautiful. I reckon that's the biggest as well. So if you want to weigh her up, I'll put this back and do a spot clean on that.
She's coming in at 200 grams.
200 grams is pretty good, and I think she's got the most of the pattern on her, hasn't she?
Most pattern, but least spotting.
Yeah, which is lovely.
Yeah, 200 grams.
Excellent. Right, I just need a bit of paper, Jared. If you get me some paper, I'll put up some bedding for her, and then we'll get that in there.
I like how her saddle almost looks like it's bleeding, like it's coming all the way around the side.
Yeah, and I think the yellow belly, what they say with the yellow belly, you get jagged patterns. So it's like really good. Just look at that. I put a double layer down for her, just a little bit of moisture at the back as well, so she gets some good humidity. And they also get fresh water as a result. So every day we tend to go through the similar exercise of actually refreshing their water, giving them extra humidity. Jared tops up, and by doing so the bacteria in the water bowls never build because we're constantly changing every day and we're cleaning them. So it's quite a clever way of getting the humidity up, but also keeping everything nice and fresh and clean. So with the fibre bedding, it's going to be a slightly different methodology because the humidity will be holding a lot more longer. And what Gav was saying is it's probably less cleaning and less humidity
more
adjustments.
Spot cleaning.
Be more spot cleaning. So I think we're looking forward to trying the new product. We let you know how that goes. We'll also let you know how the shed test goes. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. If you need any support with any accounts or tax, do drop me a line. Jared's on Instagram and he'll give you my telephone number with my WhatsApp. And what we tend to do is have live WhatsApp video links with anyone that needs support, and we can give you some reassurance and help you to file your tax returns and your accounts. And it's not as hard as perhaps people think, but we can guide you through it. If you've got slightly more complex affairs, I know that there's going to be a lot more work involved, but once you do your initial work and we get you in a situation where everything's running nicely every year, it will be a lot easier. But when you're doing something for the first time, there is a little bit of a fear element, but we're here to take away that fear element and guide you through it. So I think that'll do us for today, Jared. I think it's time for lunch, so we shall catch you hopefully tomorrow, and we shall see you soon. Bye for now.